You have probably asked the question, what should I invest in? I'm here to tell you that's the wrong question. What you should be asking is, why should I invest? Both in the general sense of why should I invest? What is my overall goal? Where do I want to be? But also, why should I invest in asset B as opposed to asset A or C? Why did I start with B? That's weird. Why should I invest in asset A as opposed to asset B, or this asset class as opposed to the next asset class? Why? What are the fundamental strengths and weaknesses? Why does this fit into my portfolio? How does it fit into my portfolio? How does it fit into my overall strategy? That's the better question to ask. If you're asking what to invest in, you still have a lot of homework to do, because you should be figuring out what your long-term goal is going to be. You want to know where you want to end up, and then you need to have a strategy to achieve that. So you need a long-term goal in mind, you need a strategy to get there, and then you need to start looking at what assets, what instruments will help you get there. If you're still asking the question, what should I invest in? Then the easy answer is invest in yourself, because you're still at a level where you haven't figured enough out. So you need to invest in your skill level. You need to invest in your education. Read more. Read something like Richest Man in Babylon. If you're asking the question, why should I invest? It's probably because you have arrived at the conclusion, maybe not explicitly in thought, but you may have a gut feeling that the wage model, the salaried work model, exchanging time for money, is not going to be able to sustain you through retirement. There are people who are 70, 80 years old applying for jobs to work at ASDA because their pension alone is not enough to take care of them. So this model no longer works. Exchanging time for money is not sustainable, because what happens as you age is your time becomes more and more precious, whereas what you're exchanging for your time, your dollars, your pounds, fiat currency, is becoming less and less valuable over time because of inflation. So your units of time are becoming more precious, whereas the unit in which you are compensated for that time is becoming less precious. So it's an unsustainable model. So you need to find a way out of that. And to do so, you have to earn more and then invest in instruments and assets that are deflationary, i.e., they appreciate with value over time. At the same time, I have to acknowledge that not everybody wants to opt out of the 9 to 5. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be a millionaire, billionaire. That's fine. What I'm saying is the 9 to 5 model, over time, I don't know how sustainable it is when it comes time to retire, when it comes time to sit back, when you can't work anymore. Will what you've accumulated over your working lifetime be enough to sustain you? I think you're going to need other income channels, which is why you need to invest. And not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. I get that. Like, you don't have to quit your 9 to 5 to become a business owner or an entrepreneur or what have you. You could continue working in your job, but you will have maybe some rental properties. Maybe you'll have some other financial instruments that earn you passive income. Maybe you write a book on one of your annual leave holidays, and that will be a way to earn some passive income. And I think those are the things that you need to have in place for a comfortable retirement, I think. Because yeah, like I said, uh exchanging a valuable commodity, time, that is increasing in value as time goes on, for something that is decreasing in value, i.e., fiat currency, over time, it just doesn't make sense. What you could do is, with the time that you spend at work and you earn your fiat currency, you can then convert that into something that is more deflationary, whether that be real estate or crypto or whatever instrument it might be, stocks. These are all things that are better than currency. It's better than holding currency. You just need to hold enough currency to get you through emergencies. Say, if you have like a year's worth of savings in fiat currency, and then beyond that, you can have a different variety of assets that hold their value better than fiat currency does. Could be gold, it could be stocks, it could be crypto, it could be real estate, whatever. But you need to have something that you're holding rather than this thing that loses value year upon year. You want to be able to, put it away somewhere, and you know that what you've invested in, whether it's one gold bar, you know that the value of one gold bar is always going to be one gold bar. It's not going to be something like you have $10,000 today, and then 10 years from now, what was $10,000 is now worth 5,000 in yesterday's money, if that makes sense. You want to get to that. You want to have assets that hold their value and appreciate in value. And I just want to reiterate, you have to figure out why you're investing. Before you think about what to invest in, remember the why, because that will inform what you purchase and what you invest in. So your why begins with, what is my goal? Where do I want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years from now? What do I envision for myself? Okay, this is what I want to have. I want to have, let's say, for argument's sake, let's say I want to have $10 million saved somewhere. Well, what's the equivalent of $10,000? Okay, how do I get there? I'm going to need this, and this in place. Let's formulate a strategy so that we can get there. I'm going to have to put a certain percentage of my salary to the side for a little bit, and then invest it into these assets, whether it be whatever, it doesn't really matter what it is. But these assets align with my overall vision. They align with my strategy. So this is what's going to work for me. And that why informs the investment decision. So always remember why you are investing. I hope you've gotten some value from this video, and catch you in the next one.